Alright, here is the Bissell PowerGlide Ultra. The brush roll on this is a little stubby, but it's evenly stubby at least. Like it's like worn it's like worn down so smoothly that it looks proper. It just looks like it has short bristles on it. So putting it on a lower setting usually does the trick. Of course, I could probably do to put a newer brush roll in it. It's not like this doesn't take the exact same brush roll as And all the other parts, all the other replenishment parts is the much more popular and common Power Force series. But this is better. After all, it has a quiet performance, which really isn't that far from the truth. I know everyone makes fun of it, but if you compare it to one of those, then yeah, it's a lot quieter. It's really quiet. This one, of course, has a HEPA filter in it. Seems good, but it's got some bits of debris in it. But that was already in there, I believe. Still seals just fine. Hi, Ruby. Do you want to say something? Would you like to make a statement on the Bissell? Okay, well, your contribution's appreciated. But yeah, so it's a Bissell. It's my favorite Bissell, but it's a Bissell. So I did, prior to doing this video, I did wash the filter. See, this is the bag that's in here. It's got a lot of crap in it. I think this is the bag that was in it whenever I got it from Aaron, however many years ago that was. But I did wash, sorry, I'm air frying some mini tacos if you hear any beeping in the background. I did wash this filter before I did this, and the grill as well. So there's a good amount of dust in here. But none of it's loose, so I do notice the motor does have a little bit of a wind down. I'm trying to hold this, put this back in, it's kind of a pain. There we go. A little awkward, but it fits in there. So, yeah, pretty decent. And I do like how the bag doors on these are a little bit easier to work with than on the Power Force models. They're just designed a little bit more nicely. So it's like there is some corners they cut on the Power Force versions. Although, of course, if you're comparing this to like the more common of the 3522 Power Forces, like the Dash 5 and Dash 6, which I'd argue those are probably the most common ones, you do lose the back check indicator. But you gain 2 height adjustments, you gain a brighter headlight, you gain a much better and longer cord. Although this one, I just noticed, has a little cut out of it, which I hadn't noticed before, but no copper showing, so it should be fine. But otherwise, much better quality cord that's actually 30 feet instead of 22 or whatever it is on the Power Forces. So yeah, really like these. Probably going to go back to using one of these, because I hadn't used one of these Bissells as a daily machine in a really long time, because I've just always been reviewing something else. And honestly, I just really like these. So I'm probably not going to use this one. I'll probably use the Sanitaire that I've had for a little bit, which is just this, but with a slightly different design, a metal handle, a thicker cord, and no headlight, and not as many height adjustments. And there's the air fryer going off. So I guess my fried pickles are ready. But yeah. So I am going to review this soon. Of course, I went ahead and did this demo first. But this will be likely the next vacuum review. I did put the attachments for my base model PowerGlide on here. And I did just use this tool. It's not very good, but I did just use that in case I forget to mention it in the review while this is fresh on my mind, because I just used this. If you do compare this to the more common version of this that's on all the Power Forces and all the current machines, this has a much better upholstery side, and it's not even close. The fact that it actually has it's smoother and has the felt strips, this upholstery side is actually at least somewhat usable, whereas it's completely worthless on the newer ones. And the dusting brush is also a little bit better too, with the exception of the fact that a lot of times I'll try to use this to dust like the corners of things, and the fact that there's literally missing bristles there makes it kind of useless, because the one area I'm trying to use to get into certain spots doesn't have any bristles for some reason. So it's really strange. But yeah, so this isn't a good tool at all. But you know, for the price, I mean, granted, this machine was $140 retail and about like 120 on sale. 130, 120 on sale depending on the store. Whereas the base model PowerGlide you could get for as cheap as like 70, 80 bucks. And then the Plus would have been around 100. So, and then of course, once the Power Force came out, you could get almost as good of a machine as most of these for only $40, which obviously for a lot of people was the obvious choice, because for the price of one of these Ultras, you could get 3 of the standard Power Forces. So it makes sense why nobody bought these. But yeah, definitely a nice machine. Definitely my favorite out of the legacy Bissells. If I had to pick one legacy Bissell, like, you know, from the early 2000s to use indefinitely, it would be this. And it'd be a smart choice too, because you could still find, even as is, you can still find all the parts for these. Not like replacement parts, like if I lose the bag, if I like break the bag door somehow, you're kind of screwed. But as far as belts, brush rolls, filters, you know, all that sort of stuff, all that's easy enough to find. Attachments, yes, they're slightly different, but they do fit on here. The extension one's identical. The crevice tool is different, but it actually fits in better. And then if you replace this with a new combo tool, it does fit on there. It just kind of sits a little bit loose because it's not as long. But so there are ways around that. One thing that's annoying is that this doesn't swivel. Like the actual hose cuffs don't swivel like they do on the Sanitaire. This part swivels, but not the actual hose cuff. So I find the hose getting twisted to be a bit of a problem. But yeah, I will do a full review on this very soon, as to my knowledge, nobody else owns on YouTube has one of these. I mean, Aaron used to have one of these, but he doesn't because it's mine now. So, but yeah, so PowerGlide Ultra. Obviously, I have the Platinum and the Plus, or in the Standard, but I'm still looking for the Plus. So, I'm trying to figure out a PowerGlide Plus, because that color scheme is definitely my favorite on the Plus. That metallic light blue. I love this kind of like tan. I'm not sure what color you'd call this, like tan or cream or whatever. It's kind of grown on me a little bit, even though it's not exactly usually my favorite color. Yeah, it's just they got some deep gouges in there. I don't know how that happened. Obviously, none of these I caused, but yeah. I wish there was an easier way to get rid of these scratches, but it doesn't bother me too much. Still works just fine. So yeah, that's the Bissell PowerGlide Ultra. With it advertises the Filtrete filter, but I don't think you can get those Filtrete filters anymore. I haven't been able to find any, because a lot of times I'll try to pair the right filters with these, and you're not going to find it. So you can get the standard black slab filters from like the Power Force 3522s and all that, but for the same price you can get a HEPA filter. Just get a HEPA filter, and these actually seal really well. I actually found out recently, Vacuum Lover 1 did a particle test on this, not on a video, but just like in a voice call that I was in him with, or a video call, and he actually showed with these Bissells, if you put these HEPA filters in, these HEPA filters actually seal so well that they blow a 0 on a particle counter, which is insane. Obviously, this is not a sealed machine, but the fact that you can, sorry about the beeping, but the fact that you can put a HEPA filter in here and have it blow a 0 out of the exhaust is amazing, because it means put a HEPA bag in the front, and then you don't have to worry about it blowing anything more than a 0 throughout the rest of the machine, even if there is a bit of air leak, which usually there isn't, because it's a bypass machine. Just amazing how effective these machines can be at filtering with the right bags and filters. You know, especially when compared to the bagless variants, because the bagless variants are some of the worst you'll find. Just that huge discrepancy is pretty interesting for sure. So yeah, I mean, that's the PowerGlide Ultra. My favorite machine, honestly, from Bissell, and my favorite bagged machine of all time, if I had to pick one. Although these days, obviously, I use the Sanitaire because that's my favorite modern version, which is just essentially the modern version of this. But yeah, and then of course my favorite bagless vacuum is the Phantom Fury. So You know, I've got my two favorite machines, and I've been using the Fury for a while, which is my favorite bagless machine. I've used it for several months, but and used a few different Furies as well. And now I'm kind of like, not burnt out per se, but I've just used them for so long. I want to use something different. I mean, what's the point of having a giant vacuum collection if you only use two machines? So I might use this for a little bit. And then maybe if I get sick of it, or if I'm worried about breaking it, I'll probably switch back to the Sanitaire. Or maybe even that other Power Force that I got from I just forgot the name of the channel, but wow, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. But the person who sold me the 3525. But Vacuum Info, I believe. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, so PowerGlide Ultra, my favorite vacuum from Bissell. And I don't know if I ever showed the sticker on this. So this one was made on the 166th day of 2001. So this one, I think, is a couple days older than my base PowerGlide. Because I think my base PowerGlide was the 192nd day of 2001. So I think this one's slightly older. And of course, model 3545-5. So, pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. I do obviously need to strip this down to the motor and clean it out. It's still dusty. I haven't really done much to it since I got it from Aaron, and he didn't really refurb it. But not that I'm complaining or anything, because it doesn't, you know, I would have bought it. I would have done the trade either way, so it doesn't matter to me. But yeah, I do need to. This motor does have a bit of a wind down to it, kind of a bit of like, I don't know if that's bearing noise or if that's like the fan being off balance. I'll turn it on again so you can hear it real quick. That sounds to me like, I think if I clean the commutator, it should get rid of that sound, because it sounds like it's scraping a little bit. Also, I do need to clean this out, because it looks like there's actually hair in the headlight lens, which, now that I'm running HEPA bags, that shouldn't be an issue, but I do still want to clean this out, obviously, because whoever had this for the last 20 years before Aaron got it, I'm sure ran this with pretty basic bags, and might have even blown up a couple bags. You know, you never know. Because this thing's, well, it appears to be like it was, I don't want to say neglected more, but it seems like this didn't have as nice of a life as my original PowerGlide did, but neither of them were all that necessarily babied, and yet they both still run great. So, whereas, you know, if you have a clean view from this era, oh god, that thing's gonna sound like an air raid siren after 3-4 years, you know, if that. Because, I mean, that was around the time when I first started fixing these, and they all started sounding, the motor started going on them. Because, yeah, sure, I mean, if they only get loud a little bit, you can often restore it by cleaning out the fan and replacing bearings and all that. But if they just keep running like that, they're eventually just going to completely crap themselves and just blow out, which is not great. But, yeah, so that's the Bissell PowerGlide Ultra, vacuuming living room, demo, and a little bit of rambling on the end. So yeah, full review of this will be coming soon, along with the full review of the Phantom Cyclone XT. If I remember correctly, I think this one won the poll that I put up. So I'll have to double check, but whichever one won the poll will go first as of the time that I film whichever video. So yeah, this is that Bissell PowerGlide Ultra. Let me know your thoughts on this vacuum in the comments below. Knowing my audience, I'm sure everyone's only going to have positive thoughts. But because my audience, for some reason, just really loves Bissells. I don't know why. Also, fun fact, the vacuum saved video from the episode 24 just hit 1 million views, which is wild. So thank you for that. I don't understand how that happened or why that happened, but I'm definitely not complaining. So I guess in honor of that, here's the PowerGlide Ultra. So yeah, anyways, this is Intellitech Studios signing out. See you guys in the next video, and I hope you all have a good one. Peace. Again, sorry for my kind of inconsistent upload schedule these days. But yeah, I'm trying my best to keep everything on a somewhat set schedule. But hopefully we'll be able to get back to it soon. But I don't want to jinx it. So yeah, hopefully more videos coming soon. We got the PowerGlide Ultra, we've got the Phantom Cyclone XT, we've got the Hoover Convertible Elites. We've also got some new pickups recently. We have a Riccar, I forgot what it's called, but the little stick vac that's like the same color as this. We've also got the Eureka Uno coming up, and a few other machines. So I'm trying to acquire right now some Dysons. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so a lot of good stuff happening, and subscribe to see it.